We all experience challenging and difficult situations in life. In the face of these complexities, it is not always clear how to respond, what to do, or what to avoid. It's easy to get stuck in these moments and stop moving forward in life. Wholeness with Naomi is a program that explores our experiences with such encounters and provides tools and strategies that can enable anyone facing these hardships to continue walking their path in life. We can't wait to meet you on this journey. Tune in, your life is about to change for the better.
Welcome to our program, Wholeness with Naomi, where we talk about difficult and sometimes different situations that we find ourselves in. More importantly, we talk about the tools that you can use if you navigate in these difficult and different paths. Eczema is a chronic condition, sometimes that is characterized by dry, itchy, or even flaky skin. It's something that one has to live with because it's chronic, sometimes for the rest of their life. Joining us on the program to share a personal testimony of her life and how this condition has affected her is Ms. Tendai Chishande. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you, Naomi. How are you?
I am good. Do share with us, how did this journey start? When did you get to know that you have eczema?
My mom tells me that this journey started at 6 months.
Okay.
This was September 1999.
Mm-hmm.
And I have lived with it till date.
Okay.
I must say it's characterized by a lot of itchiness, as you said, flaky skin, and at times long nights without sleep. The itchiness can take you 3 hours while scratching during the night. I could talk about it. I remember years back during my primary school.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a girl who's raised by a very present dad because mom works away from home.
Okay.
So during the night, whenever I would start scratching, I would call my mbuya and she would go to bed and like, atanga kukwenya. And my dad would take me in. He would watch me while I scratch. And it gets me emotional to this day because he made sure that he watches me till I catch my sleep.
Okay.
And his presence, being with me, it has reminded me that someone is watching me. And this summary, he made sure I visited my dermatologist. May he so rest in peace, being Dr. Vida.
Okay.
And he made sure he was there throughout the journey. I remember I would not stay at school. He says, we need to go to the appointment. We go to the appointment. The doctor prescribes a list of creams, a list of mixtures. We can talk about them. And at one moment, my dermatologist was like, I think this is now beyond me.
Okay. How did that make you feel?
The fact that I was now at a stage of understanding what he was talking about, I lost all hope.
Okay.
And I was ready to live life with the condition. But I remember at that time, I was slowly learning more about my Bible. And at school, one teacher that I used to share with my story in high school, she always reminded me of Psalms 139, verse 14, where she said, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. She affirmed so much to me by that scripture. And we gave him time. I was like, I'm going to India in the next 2 months. I'll be back.
Okay.
I'll bring a cream that we wish would help her.
Okay.
He went and he brought the mixture. I remember he was like, I'm still working on getting this formulation done by the pharmacy that we usually go to. But for now, let's test this. Whew. I thank God it worked.
Okay.
Slowly but surely, everything was going, and the scars remained as proof that I conquered.
Okay.
During this journey, I would say a lot happened.
Okay. I actually want us to go to that. I want to, there are people that are watching the show that also are struggling with children, even adults, with eczema. I've met a couple of people myself that it has put them in a place where they were failing to see hope. When the skin is itchy, it's very uncomfortable. You can't sleep, you can't do anything. And as a parent, as you were rightfully saying about your dad, that watching your child scratch and you're not able to do anything about it really does affect you even as a parent as well. I want to understand the sort of challenges that you have faced or that you had to live with as you navigated either primary school or going to school with this condition. To what extent did it affect you?
Looking at it now, it did affect me a lot. I remember primary the journey started actually preschool, because my eczema was found on most of my joints.
Okay.
Being on the hands and my legs and the knee points. So the itchiness would get into me, and it's quite distracting when you're seated with people and you start scratching. They'll be like, what's going on?
And the more you scratch,
the more itchy it gets. So I remember in preschool, there are a few kids who would say, what's that? You're always scratching. And I lost so much confidence. At that point, I was so comfortable with long outfits because I didn't want to expose my skin and I didn't want them to be asking. But at the same time, during summer, you can't be in those longs because the itchiness becomes worse. So I remember I just had to go through preschool. But as I grew older, primary, they would ask, why are you still in that jersey? And I remember I would just say, Mama, I don't think that's a jersey. So I have to be in the jersey to make sure I take it home. At one moment, I remember I removed my jersey. I think I was now in grade 4. And then someone came, and on that particular day, I had a crack. And if you get the crack, you see some redness. So someone's like, we are no rara. I do not want to lie. It broke all my confidence. Because they related the condition to HIV and AIDS.
And in that time, it was something that was topical.
It was very topical. So I lost so much confidence. And at my old age right now, I sit myself down and realize that they took so much confidence out of me. I guess those who might know me, they can tell you, she's such a confident young lady, but I had to learn and grab back my confidence. Because at that time we knew AIDS, it means death. It means there's so much stigma that comes with that. People are not ready to accept me. And these were 10-year-olds telling me that. So it became even more difficult and quite emotional, which is basically the summary of someone living with eczema that is so evident to the eye for the next person.
Thank you so much, Tendai, for that sharing. Viewers, let's take a short break to join me in the next segment. Welcome back, viewers, to our program, Honest with Naomi. Before we went on a short break, Ms. Tendai was sharing with us some of the challenges that she faced with eczema while she was in school. some of the comments that were passed and how they greatly impacted even her self-esteem and her confidence. Ms. Tendai, what are some of the misconceptions that people have towards eczema?
Number one being the one that I just mentioned. I think they associate eczema with HIV and AIDS. I do not know where this comes from. Because throughout the journey, I remember as I went to finish my primary, I finished my primary in a boarding school, grade 6 and 7. I was facing the same issue. I remember people not, so the boarding setup, it gets me quite emotional. But I remember at some point, I used to be the last person to get in the showers.
Okay.
Because I didn't want people to look at my skin and start posing comments. So I chose to always make sure that when the matron is screaming 10 minutes left, that's when I enter the bathroom.
Okay.
One time, on that particular day, I was just like, I'm just like them, let me just enter the showers with them. And one of the ladies saw me and like, guys, baguette attend there is shandy sweet. And people are like, oh, what's going on? And like, ne AIDS. Amuskona uti mwiri wake wakaita sei chicho chichi. Kuita skin inenge manga kudai. I remember I just finished bathing, went to cry by my bed, and I had to continue with life.
There was no slowing down, no moment to think through. Life is going.
It has to go on.
And that comment, you know, as I am just reflecting, even for someone that has HIV, that is not a nice comment to say to anyone, to say we are not sharing a bucket because this person has this condition.
It's not a nice comment at all. But I remember that night, I gathered the confidence to go and see my matron.
Okay.
My matron had a similar condition, and as you were saying, it's also a condition that's found in adults. But hers was quite worse.
Okay.
She grabbed a mirror. It was on the bed. Like, my daughter, do you see me? I'm like, yes, I do. Like, I have a similar condition to yours.
Okay.
But it's worse than what you have. I was like, oh, I didn't know. I just thought maybe Shironda, because hers was that bad. And it left marks, dark marks on her skin, because she was a light lady. And she said, please take this mirror. I did just that. And she said, always repeat this to yourself. If you don't have a mirror, knock by my door. You are beautiful, Tendai. And that's it. That's on a period. You are beautiful. If they don't want to share that bucket with you, use your bucket alone. And sitting down years later.
But just also reflecting on that moment where you came to a place with someone that you could relate to. Hers was much worse than what you had. How did that make you feel coming to a place where someone could resonate with what you were sharing?
To be honest with you, I got some type of closure. However, I got emotional because what I was crying about was only 5% of her reality. Because her skin was covered in eczema.
Your whole skin?
Yes, from head to toe. I went back to God and I'm like, God, if I'm only crying with a portion of this condition, please meet this lady halfway through.
Okay.
And from that particular day, she used to check up on me.
Okay.
I felt so seen. I think as eczema survivors or people living with eczema, we are comfortable in our small world because we feel like people don't see us. They only see this condition, especially speaking about those who are covered in eczema on greater parts of their body.
And that is, whenever you meet someone, the first thing that you see is their skin.
Yes.
And that is the first level of entry that someone would even judge you to say, this person looks like this, because that's what is on the surface, what they are seeing.
You try to act normal, but behind your back, people are not really happy with me because they think this way. So I went to high school. Because of this experience, I remember, let me take you back a little bit. I remember applying to day schools, and my parents would say, also try these boarding schools. But I would walk in the gates of those schools for the entrance test. By then we used to do those. And I'd be like, Mari, I don't want this. Okay. I have experienced life boarding. I don't want this for myself.
Okay.
And I don't know if it was God positively answering me, but he made sure what I told him that I don't want, he gave to me.
Okay.
So my prayers were answered. I managed to not get any boarding school vacancy. And the only school that I passed was a day school.
Okay.
It was so much relief. So I started my Form 1. So I knew kuti Juzari asked me because
you still were wearing your jersey.
Yes.
Okay. But just to pause there, wearing the jersey, doesn't it make it worse when the heat is now trapped inside? And
was I ready for the comments?
Okay. So it was better to endure the pain.
And I'll
than the
scratch it home.
Okay.
I was not ready for the comments. So one particular day, I was late. They were like, Tindo. He calls me Tindo. Wanono Randi. And I forgot my drying towel on my bed. I think I was now in Form 2 that time. And I get to school, I go to the changing rooms. I realize, just your towel does. And because I felt like it was something very contagious. And growing up, I was taught not to share anything of mine.
Okay.
I felt like I can't even ask for a drying towel from a friend. So I was just like, we are going to live our reality today.
Okay, you took a bold step.
I took a very bold step.
What happened?
I remember I had a very close friend of mine. Her name was Camila Zulu. And she's like, I'm changing room. I'm like, see a drying towel. And then it's like, Tendai, let's go. We are late. She pulled me and I gathered so much confidence. Like, I can do this. If she says I can do it, definitely. And I think you can see how much another person's approval makes someone with eczema feel. I left the changing rooms. I was walking. When I got to the pool area and I was about to enter, someone screamed, Uyo, she's not like us. That was it for me.
What did you do?
For a moment, I'm such an emotional person. I cried.
Okay.
Camila was like, feel it, but don't allow it to define you.
She stood by your side.
She did.
Okay.
I felt it. She's like, oh, so I'm from Bulawayo. She's like, Jande, that was my nickname by then. Asingen. Like, let's get in the pool. I got in the pool. I enjoyed the lesson. And she made sure she was by my side. And it's from that day I realized that this is my reality.
It helped you come to a place of acceptance.
Yes, I really accepted what I was.
Thank you so much for that sharing, Tendai. Viewers, let's take a short break to join me in the next segment. Welcome back, viewers, to our program, Wholeness with Naomi. Before we went on a short break, Ms. Tendai was sharing with us some of the challenges and how life looked like for her when she was in school and having a chronic condition called eczema. Ms. Tendai, you have shared with us some of the difficult paths that you've moved in life. Do share with us, what are some of the things, in addition to the ones that you've already mentioned, that did help you, either lifestyle changes that did help you to navigate this path?
Lifestyle changes, I think we can talk about trying anything and everything for your skin. I believe just like a skincare routine, you will have to try everything until something works with your skin. Unfortunately, we are not all financially gifted. So I feel like we have to start small until we get there. And most of our dermatologists, they recommend to us what they see best. And we will always have to try and maneuver and see what really works for us.
And it's different for everyone.
It's very different. So that's why I would say don't prescribe someone with a similar condition with what worked on you, because that could actually worsen the next person's situation. So lifestyle-wise, I can also talk about my diet. I think for the greater part of my life, to date, I'm not allowed to take nuts. I'm not allowed to take anything that is true lactose. I'm not also allowed to take in eggs. Surprisingly, I love them. And
so how did you taste them?
I
guess as a child you experiment, yes,
you know.
Yes.
So above all, fish. I love fish, but I'm not allowed to take it. So also there's some things that you're not meant to wear if you have this condition. But I have told myself that, Aywa, we don't do that here. Have to be confident in that skin. Wear it. It'll get to a point whereby you define, maybe I don't want this for myself. During your growing up season, rock those outfits. I know you talk shorts. I know you talk mini dresses. I want every mother, every father, or anyone suffering from eczema to experience and then get to a point whereby they choose but because of personal choice.
To make their own choice.
Yes. And I think that also affects our lifestyle to a greater opposite side, because our parents end up defining things for us, and even the community. I remember at one point, sorry to take you back, at one point I was wearing my shorts, went to the shops. I think mnozeka life came gate. Yes. So this other man I was like, uyune mezu. I was with a family member and they didn't fight for me. And the following day, when I wanted to wear a short nagatonzi, asivano vanozotichi. And coming from someone I love and hold in high esteem, I didn't like it. And it brought so much memories. So I feel like lifestyle, affected to a greater extent, and it ends up being affected more by those who are closer to us, whereby they have to be standing with us.
I can see a young girl, the dating phase of life.
At one point, I wasn't ready to do this dating.
Okay.
I'm a late bloomer, and I remember the first time I met someone who had eczema.
Okay.
I don't want to lie, I was excited. Kota kawanda. And ndiri kutodiwa neeczema yangu iyi. Aiwa, let's do it. But unfortunately, fortunately, God said this will not work.
Okay.
So moving on from that one, I have just been so open about my condition to anyone because I know in future it could affect my offspring.
Amen. Thank you so much. It was quite insightful, I must say, walking this journey of life with you and understanding the challenges that you faced. I think viewers, as you are listening to the program, one thing that really stands out about Tendai's life is the people that were in her life. From the negative comments that she received from other school children, including the one friend that stood up for her and that made her feel safe, and for her to be able to go, and for her that was swimming, explore different things. It also shows how we need to also work around teaching our children about the different conditions that they may find out themselves with. One can have eczema, one can be born with albinism, one can be born with asthma. Acceptance and inclusion of all children, where they do not see someone different, but we are all wired differently, we are all born differently. We are all, at the end of the day, humans at the end of the day. Thank you so much for joining us on this program. Do join me in the next episode. Thank you.